Hello and welcome to another edition of Pulp Picks. My name is Patrick.
I'm Fritz.
And we're here to give you this week's reading recommendations on New Comic Book Day. Big week this week. Lots of choices.
Oh, yeah.
And 3 weeks in a row, we've got a new title from the Vertigo line at DC.
So, unsurprising if you've been just watching the last couple of weeks, I picked the new Vertigo title, The Peril of the Brutal Dark,
Yes.
an arcane mystery. So, this one, so the first two books that they've had come out are ongoings. This one is going to be a mini-series. I believe the way they're kind of marketing it is like, it's going to be like a series of mini-series kind of thing. Like each one is kind of an arc of, here's him dealing with this. The next one's going to be him dealing with a different thing.
Gotcha.
But so this series, it follows the titular Ezra Kane. He's a private eye working in early 1940s New York. He's a former pilot from World War I. He's used to be a police officer before kind of striking off on his own.
Yeah.
And it's very much a kind of noir thing. He's got like a couple different cases going. He's hired to help this lady with her missing husband. He's also hired by this museum to find a artifact that was recently stolen. An artifact that we get a little flashback at the start of this issue, get a little history on it, and it might be maybe more than just something you'd see at a museum. It might have some power to it. What that power might be.
From the occult, perhaps?
Yeah, it's interesting because...
And is it connected at all to the missing person, maybe?
Maybe. And it's very fun because, like I said, it's got a very noir thing. If you familiar with any of that kind of stuff, like Maltese Falcon, anything like that. But then also with the whole occult angle, there's a little bit of like Indiana Jones in there dealing with these mystical things. Like, because part of the reason he's hired for the case is before he was any of these other things, a cop, a pilot, he was a student of anthropology. So he's got connections to some of the people involved in this missing item.
I like it.
Yeah, so basically he's a dude who's got his fingers in a bunch of different pies. Is that the metaphor? I forget.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And he's an interesting character because he's, on the one hand, seems a very kind of like upstanding, willing to help the little guy kind of thing. But also there's these little hints here and there of he's also maybe very willing to do things that are not above board. There's kind of this innocuous line from someone talking to him related to a case that we see him handling at the start of this issue that's just like, oh, that seems kind of weird. What was going on there? And then at the end of this issue, there's a newspaper clipping of a previous case he handled, and just like, oh, Ezra Kane solved this mystery. And it kind of gets into like what he did. It's just like, well, that seems like endangerment and also not entirely proofing what happened.
Sure.
It kind of just sounds like he may have shot someone.
Oh, my.
Yeah. And so there's definitely this, you've got these two very different sides of the character that seem to be already coming through. And I'm excited to see which one of those might be more who he really is.
Yes.
Because that's one of the things that's great about a lot of noir stories is that they are these people that kind of straddle this line of doing good, but also doing things that are maybe more outside of what are accepted actions by society.
For sure. How does, because this is written by Chris Condon, yes? How does the dialogue come across? Is it film noir-y, or do they just kind of, step aside from that pretense and just kind of tell a straight story to today's people?
I'd say it definitely does a good job of, like, it doesn't, it's...
I'm getting somewhere in between.
Kind of, yeah. Like, because there's a lot of, you do have that kind of like throwback. There's straight up a character that's just like, you never take me, Kappa, kind of thing.
Sure.
But also, like, it doesn't feel, it still feels kind of fresh in a way.
Sure.
That it does a very good job of straddling the line there. And a big part of that is Jacob Phillips, who has worked with Condon before on stuff like that, This Texas Blood, and other titles, does a really good job of making you feel like you're living back in the forward. Like everything, as I think you talked about, there was previous, like there's a Dick Tracy comic going on right now, and an issue you had with it is just, not that the art was bad, but it didn't really make you feel like you were back in that kind of time period.
There were definitely things that showed up in scenes that were not time accurate. So if you're doing a period book, do your homework and make sure that everything looks correct.
This very much feels like you do feel like you're walking down a street in 1941.
No microwaves.
No microwaves.
Tennis shoes.
And does really good job. Let me double check who the colorist on this is, because
that makes a big difference too, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's actually one of those, we get the tile drop at the end of the issue here. Yeah, it looks like Phillips is also the colorist. So there's like, with the noir thing, there's a lot of like heavy use of blacks to set the mood to kind of like make everything feels very shadowy.
I like it. This one was on my list, but it was such a big week I didn't make it to it yet. So I will definitely pick it up.
And again, like I was saying, it's a mini series. So if you do just want to like hop into this one, you don't want like a big commitment. I think it's only supposed to be 6 issues, so it's going to be a nice contained story. I'm super excited for this because again, part of the whole fun of Vertigo is you do get these stories that you don't normally get with like normal DC books, because it's always some kind of like superhero sci-fi thing.
Yeah.
And this is just going to be a very quick in and out. We get to do this whole noir story with the other ones, like Bleeding Hearts. It's this weird zombie post-apocalypse, but also what does it mean to really like live? Mm-hmm. It's just, I don't know. It's cool that we get to see them do these stories that we don't normally get to see them do from some of the best people in the industry right now.
Absolutely.
But
I'm very excited.
Yeah, but speaking of some work from some of the best people in the industry.
Oh my. Well, one of your absolute favorite writers.
Yes.
So I went with The Ultimates number 21 by Dennis Camp. So we're, in the last couple issues, we've been really focused on Luke Cage and his whole group of merry followers who are who have trained to become Ultimates and are basically have started a civic uprising. So people with superpowers are taking back cities from the Maker and the Maker's followers, but they're also getting assistance from regular everyday people. Citizens are helping them organize, communicate, but also with some logistics elements beyond that, including just straight up becoming kind of, civic soldiers, I guess is a good way to put it. They're implementing some technology to be able to counter what some of the Maker's high-powered allies bring to confrontation. And so this one was good. I really like how... So we've got kind of, you've got the Maker, and then you've got a handful of underlings that he's divvied up the different parts of the world to. And in this one, we have somebody decide to fight fire with fire when it comes to the Ultimates, and basically create a team that's made to be marketed to the people at large. And it was really interesting because, it's got kind of, like a boys kind of element to it, where it's like, oh yeah, this guy tested really well with this demographic, and this gal, we had to change her backstory, so hopefully nobody finds out about that. But the way that we've written it now, people are going to love her, and it was just really great. And it looks bad for Luke Cage and company when they show up. It, they basically create a situation that's going to make them look bad on television, but also these are some super powered individuals that are really, they're formidable. So super cool.
One of the things I love, you mentioned the kind of the boys aspect. I feel also to a certain extent it's also riffing on the original Ultimates from back in the day, because very much a part of what that book was to a certain extent exploring how's it like this weird fusion of they're the superheroes, but they're also this paramilitary group, but they're also celebrities.
Yeah.
Like there's that whole issue where there's a couple of pages where it's just them talking about like, oh, hey, when they make the movie about us, who's going to play like each, which is
yes.
Yeah. And that's a concept that comics have kind of dealt with here and there, even going back into the 80s with some like Grant Morrison on their original Zenith title, the whole concept of superhero celebrity and everything. So to see them touch on this here, but then this very, very dark and twisted version is super cool.
Yeah, because they're psychopaths. Yeah. It turns out. But It was really good. I enjoyed this particular story arc is interesting, but I'm at the point with everything in the Ultimate line right now where as I'm reading, I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop and everybody to all the characters that I like and care about and am rooting for to just get slaughtered.
Yeah.
So sit on the edge of your seat, hold your breath. Like we're in for a ride in general with this entire line. But yeah, it's just when these guys showed up and started really kicking butt, I was like, oh man, here we go. It's Hulk killing everybody all over again.
Another thing I really liked and kind of feeds into one of the things you're talking about there is a big part of this is introducing some of these new hero characters.
Yeah, we were just talking about this.
And there's two things there. One, because they are these kind of newer, less established characters, you instantly feel like they're not safe from bad things happening to them.
Correct.
Because it's real easy to establish stakes by just being like, oh, let's just kill a bunch of red shirts kind of thing.
Yes.
But then the other side of that coin, one of the cool things that they've been really kind of drive home with the Ultimate books with some of the newer characters they've introduced is that you can have, like, being a hero doesn't just mean being, oh, you aren't just this person that we recognize from the main universe. It's a matter of what do you do when you're given these kind of powers. Because we get these characters who are analogous to existing characters from the 616 universe. But they are new people who, given this opportunity, are like, I will do good. I will use my powers to help people.
Well, and I think that gives the storytellers some more license to be able to do different things with these characters, right? So if it's not, like you're saying, a one-for-one, say, I don't know, just come up with a character off the top of my head. Paladin. Nobody cares about Paladin, but whatever. Paladin does not show up.
We're going to get like one person in here being like, Paladin is my favorite.
Paladin? How dare you, Patrick? I unfollow.
I was a big fan of when he was one of Deadpool's Mercs for Hire.
Yeah. So like they don't make it look like a slightly different version of Paladin with the same backstory and everything. Like, everybody's different enough. And there are a couple of those characters. Most of them are going to be the older characters, though, right? Because that's where the timelines diverge. Yeah. So, you've got original Human Torch and Captain America and Namor. And, well, you don't have Namor anymore. Spoiler alert. Which told us a long time ago he was killed.
Fingers crossed. I think that might come up in the next issue, though.
Ooh, really? Like flashback kind of thing?
Maybe, because the next issue we get to deal with the whole Red Skull of everything.
That is true. Yeah. It's going to be really interesting. But this whole line has been great. Highly recommend. All right, well, now we're on to a second issue in a brand new numbering of a character that's been around forever.
We've got Iron Man issue 2.
But don't let my disdain for the fact that the big publishers love to renumber everything dissuade you from reading this book, because it's been really good.
I mean, to be fair, it doesn't seem to be dissuading anyone, because we already sold out of issue 1 within like a day.
I know. We had to order way more of issue 3. So if issue 2 is on your radar, get in quick.
Yeah.
I ordered those based on the sales numbers of number 1 initially, and number 1 took off a couple weeks after it came out.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
So issue 2, if you can't tell from the cover here, we are very much dealing with Madame Mask, kind of trying to basically create a new Tony Stark in terms of what happens when you take someone who has all this intelligence and drive and ability to just kind of like think outside the box and put them in this horrible situation. Like, what can they come up with to save themselves?
You capture them, imprison them, torture them, pit them against other brilliant people.
And it's really, we were talking about this before, I love how this issue starts off with really reminding you, like, oh yeah, these two characters have a lot of history together. Both in terms of being enemies and something a little more intimate than enemies. Yeah. Which really just drives home like how messed up the situation is.
They're enemies with benefits.
Yeah, enemies with benefits. Really. And
which should surprise no one of Tony Stark.
Which I love. There's a whole conversation in here with him and Cap where Tony is just like, oh, you don't get to judge me on that kind of stuff. Like,
come on. Like you've never hooked up with the villain of yours before.
And then we got to talking, just like, oh yeah, man, there's a lot of, especially Marvel characters, where that's just a thing that tends to happen.
We came up with a pretty long list.
Yeah. But yeah, no, this issue continues the action. It's a lot of Tony trying to go around and just figure out something. Like he's desperately trying to stop this before it can get worse.
Yes.
And it's a lot of fun just kind of seeing him work against the clock here.
Yeah, the art is fun. The story is snappy. I think we talked because we did pick issue number 1, and we talked about how they're doing a really good balancing act with Tony of kind of that more modern age, Robert Downey Jr. influenced kind of Tony Stark, and this being his own comic book kind of Tony Stark as well. And and I just the whole vibe about this. Super creepy that we get MODOK in his downtime, which is in Madripoor, where anything goes. And apparently he's got a thing for Roman history. Particularly the bathing part of it. That was, oh man, it's so weird. But it was funny. I laughed. And then I like, sometimes the classics are, classics for a reason. And the whole twist at the end there was like, no, you don't get it.
Yeah.
It's just always a good one, Which
I love actually really how those, like that scene, like the Captain America scene, really do kind of show these two sides of Tony in terms of how he can be this more kind of like jokey, jovial character, but also when he wants to, he can be like very in your face, very aggressive.
Yes.
Like how much of which is kind of the armor he throws around, which is the real Tony Stark. I love that element too.
Well, and so that kind of brings up a really interesting point for this whole thing, because he's, the armor is, kind of an analogy for Tony and his walls that he puts up around himself to protect himself from, being hurt emotionally by other people and whatever. And the one person that we know in this storyline that he lets his guard down with is the last person he should have done that with.
Yeah.
He literally took off his armor for her, and it is coming back to bite him big time. So, yeah, it's been a really fun book. All right, well, these are our top 3 this week. What was close to making it up here for you, Fritz?
There was so much good stuff. We were talking before. Both the Absolute books, I should say, out this week are really good. Absolute Wonder Woman continues to deal with Absolute Zatanna, making her life very difficult. There's a great fight sequence between her and Absolute Giganta this issue, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah. That was really cool. And a lot of, and we get a mysterious flaming character.
Yeah. We get Absolute Martian Manhunter is really good there. I keep switching between Ultimate and Absolute.
Yeah, for sure. Me too.
But Absolute Despero is, man, he is awful. I love him, but he's awful.
Going back to Absolute Wonder Woman for a second, did we get some foreshadowing on a villain that shows up and a Wonder Woman ally that seemed to be, who's that?
Yeah,
right? Did I read that right? And
potentially.
Yeah, okay, I see there's these people here, but who's that one? Like,
Yeah.
And then I'm not going to give away the spoiler.
Don't want to give too much away. Come and buy the book.
Yep.
But no, those were both really good. Let me double check, because like you said, there were a bunch of stuff this week. Oh, New Punisher number 1 is out this week. That was fun.
Yes.
I love there's a great bit early on where someone's trying to mug Frank, and he's just like, open your coat so I can see what you got. He just opens it, just... And the dude's just like,
it's what you would expect.
Runs away.
Oh, damn. Yeah. No, it was really good. Yes. The Punisher books for me can be, like guilty pleasures, I guess. Because I just don't, the idea of somebody just taking justice into their own hands and walking around and just shooting people, I don't really want to glorify that too much, but they're also interesting stories. And in this one, he's missing part of his brain.
And that's the thing that I think is interesting, at least with what this initial arc can be in terms of like Frank trying to really understand who he is. Because a lot of what he's doing is just him running on instinct.
Yeah.
But he doesn't, because he's had this brain damage, he doesn't really fully understand like who and what he is.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see how he kind of like comes back to like grips with that.
Yeah. Also, we get somebody ripping their own face off. That was drawn really well.
Yeah.
It was horrifying. Even though when you read it, you'll understand maybe not as horrifying as it looked. And then we get Tombstone getting the screws tightened, like it's going to be really interesting where this all goes. It was a lot of fun. I like the art. Do we know, have we been exposed to the artist before?
Let me see, because it's Jose Luis Soares. And I'm not familiar with the name, but the art is really good here.
Yeah, and I always like when they go with Frank has definitely had his nose broken a few times kind of look, I just think that's better than just straight handsome.
Yeah, I
like rough looking Frank.
I love when there's always like some kind of like little scar on him from some some kind of glass hitting him because he's broken through a window or something.
Exactly, with his face.
Yeah.
Yes. Really good. Void Rivals was also really good. We're getting closer to, it's the invasion right now. Is this the end for the Zertonians and the
Argorians?
Argorians, or Argorian, Agorians. It's like they were going to come together, and then they realized, this would be horrible. It'd be the worst thing ever. And then invading force, and it's like, oh crap, maybe we do have to start being buddies again. Like, it's really interesting. But I love the consistency in this book. It's been really good. Because what issue are we on?
I don't recall my seat. I think it's 27.
27. Yeah. So we've been going for more than a couple of years.
Yeah.
And that title has been the same creative team ever.
No, the artist has switched out at this point. I forget who's the new person on, but...
Oh, wow. They're doing an exceptional job of making that pretty seamless. But anyway, it's just been really good. So, all right, well, that's what we've got for this week. Be sure to stop in and check out the comics for yourself. Like, follow, subscribe, comment, share, do all those kinds of things. And pick up some comic books for yourself. We love to see you and hear from you on what you're reading, what you're watching, what you're listening to, what's going on in your life. It's just a great community, and we love being part of it. So we'll be back next week with more Pulp Picks. Until then, enjoy the reading. I just don't know if they've got the patience to even make it to my pick, much less the end of the video. Like, all right, Fritz is done. We can just move on with our lives now.